Hello everyone and welcome back, hope we're all having a great day and we're all doing well. So literally as I left to go to Montreal to attend SI 2023, Ubisoft dropped a brand new lore comic for Solace and Solar Raid. So now that I'm back, I finally get to make a video about this comic, so if you haven't seen this comic already, stay tuned because we're going to be reading the whole comic and I'm also going to be explaining every piece of information that we get from it. Now first and foremost, I believe that this comic is actually set before the cinematic where Ghosteyes confronts Callie, because it does seem to be Solace's first time joining the Ghosteyes Squad. So without further ado, let's get into this. So at the beginning of this comic, we are in a undisclosed rainbow training facility. It actually kind of gives me a vibe of the training facility at the beginning of Splinter Cell. And in this, we can see many Ghosteyes operators training with the leader of Ghosteyes, Caveira, watching over them. The training seems to be going well, however that is until when Solace actually loses her gripping whilst rappelling and falls on top of Mozzie and Zofia. This results in a lot of anger from their leader Caveira. On the next page, we can actually see the briefing room of the Ghosteyes Squad where we have Solace, Caveira, and actually Sam Fisher. This is where Caveira tells Solace that she is actually off the Sunset R&D operation. Now Solace actually responds by saying, "You recruited me for this mission, I want to be there." However, Caveira says, "Do you? I'm no longer sure you're Ghosteyes material. Our simulated success rate was abysmal today because of you." And Solace says that she has dedicated her life to protecting people and this squad is where she can shine. Caveira says that at this level you don't get the luxury of failure and mistakes lead to death. Not just for civilians but for operators as well. Caveira actually asks Sam Fisher for his opinion and we get the most majestic looking version of Sam Fisher I have ever seen. He looks flawless. But yeah, Sam says to give her a shot and I just think it's really cool because we do know that even though Sam isn't the leader of Ghosteyes and Caveira is, it's clear that he does somewhat have an influence over the squad and Cav does seem to talk to him as well. I kind of knew that this would be the case, that Sam wasn't going to be like another backseat operator. He is still going to have a say in a lot of things and it's clear that Caveira does trust him. But with Sam's input, Caveira agrees to give Solace another chance. On to the next page, we actually get a one-on-one interaction between Solace and Sam Fisher. Solace actually asks Sam why he vouched for her, saying that she was a walking disaster today and he didn't really have to do it. And Sam actually says that she reminds him of a young version of himself. He says it's a loaded compliment, he had a lot of talent, but he had a lot of mistakes. Solace says that she'd never let her team down like this before in Colombia, and Sam seems to understand this and realizes that this is just a one-off. If she wasn't as great as she was in Colombia, they wouldn't have invited her. Sam gives her more reassurance until they actually hear the call to come into the briefing room. Sam asks her if that actually came from her helmet and she says yeah, and he kind of just jokes around asking if her helmet can make coffee. It's really nice to see that Sam Fisher is building these really nice and strong relationships with both old operators and new operators. It just seems like he is a really likable person. Now on the next page we are back in the briefing room where Caveira tells us that Operation Sunset R&D starts now. In this briefing room alongside Caveira we can see Solace, Mozzie, Sam Fisher, Zofia, and Maverick. Caveira says that there is to be no mistakes whilst looking at Solace, and Mozzie chimes in and says usually she looks at me when she says that type of thing, implying that Mozzie has maybe made a few mistakes in the past. Caveira says that they need to secure something known as the prototype and get out, exclaiming that they are ghosts and it's time to prove it. And now on the next page we can see that they are actually enacting Operation Sunset R&D at the Sunset R&D HQ in London. They use Maverick's blowtorch to actually sneak in through one of the windows whilst rappelling. A lot of people actually wondered why Maverick was in Ghosteyes. Well, here shows how useful he can actually be whilst being sneaky like a ghost. And we just get this really cool shot of the operators breaching the building. Next we can see our operators heading through a hallway where Solace actually stops them while she scans the perimeter with her Spec IO. She then seemingly orders Mozzie to shoot his pest at one of these gadgets, which results in a light turning green from red. As they progress through the building, it seems like they managed to take out some unsuspecting guards, where Solace continues to scan the rooms ahead. She claims that it is clean, however she feels like there should be more security in there and doesn't really trust it. However, Caveira says that there is no room for buts, it's either clean or not, so Solace goes with clean. Caveira orders Sam Fisher to do his thing and he breaches the door. The operators push in where there are no guards, however they are met by some automated turrets. Zofia, Caveira and Mozzie successfully take out these turrets. However, Caveira is not happy with Solace, exclaiming how she could miss those turrets and that they could have lost somebody. Caveira claims that this was the last straw and that Solace is out of Ghosteyes. Whilst this argument ensued, it seems like a guard was not fully killed and actually activated the turrets once again on his wrist. The turrets pointed all focus on Caveira, and that is when Solace threw her helmet in the radius, causing all turrets to focus fire on that, diverting the bullets from Caveira. A stunned Caveira looks down at Solace on the floor who had just saved her life, while Sam Fisher emerges of what we believe to be the prototype which they were looking for. And with that, it seems like Ghosteyes' mission were successful. The next page, we can see the operators sharing a drink with each other whilst they are reminiscing about the mission, with Flores serving them drinks, where Sam Fisher is actually drinking a coffee, referring to Flores as an artist because it's that good. Nice to see that Sam Fisher finally got the coffee he was wanting from the beginning of the comic. Here we actually learn that the automatic turrets focused on the Spec IO because it was an irresistible target because it was that high tech, but Solace does admit that she should have picked up on the turrets faster. Caveira does say that no one else could have turned that situation around except Solace, and that she has earned her place in Ghosteyes, and that she saved Caveira's ass. Solace turns to Sam Fisher to continue their conversation from before, to reveal to him that her secret sauce to keep her head in the game is her family, and that family isn't always a tie by blood, sometimes it's by choice. And it kind of zooms out on these operators a little bit, kind of indicating that this squad is like a family. And in the closing minute of these comics, Caveira is talking to Solace, and she says, "Speaking of which, I have another mission for you, Solace. Do you want the shot?" If I'm not wrong about the timeline of this comic and what Caveira is implying here, she is actually setting up Solace to be the one that confronts Callie on the runway, whilst Caveira and the rest of the Ghosteyes Squad sit in the shadows for the time being, because we do see that Solace was the first operator to reveal themselves on the runway at Nighthaven's base, and it does make sense that this comic would take place before that cinematic, because I can't imagine that Caveira would put her on such a high profile task without first having this sort of character building and team building exercise like they had in this comic, where she knows that she can now trust Solace. I'm not 100% sure what it was that they were stealing and who they were stealing it from. It could simply be something completely unrelated to the main story, and it was purely just showing off one of the missions which Ghosteyes were partaking in. Or it could have been some sort of data key, and that's how Solace managed to destroy the drones when Callie was surrounding him on Nighthaven's runway. I'm not 100% sure what the actual outcome of this whole mission was meant to be for. That doesn't mean we can't appreciate what this story actually gave us. It showed us a lot of team building between a lot of these operators. Of course, these are only a few operators from the Ghosteyes Squad. It's clear that they don't bring the entire squad around for every mission. If you don't need everyone, there's no point in bringing them. Only bring the operators that you need at that time. It's really nice to see that Sam Fisher does actually kind of have a say in stuff, and Caveira does turn to him for his opinion on certain things. And of course, that he's still not afraid to get his hands dirty. Now, there is still some interactions in the Ghosteyes Squad which I really want to see. I really want to see the relationship between Mozzie and Vigil, because we do know that Vigil absolutely hates Mozzie. I would absolutely love to just see like a 10-page comic book of just Vigil and Mozzie on a solo adventure together, and just hear their interactions, why they hate each other, the issues they have with each other. It would be such a cool little comic and dynamic, and it's just really cool to see as well Caveira in her leader position, because she is of course the leader of the Ghosteyes Squad, and how she can command those operators, and it seems like she does a pretty good job. And still guys, that was Operation Sunset R&D. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe if you are new and drop a like on this video. Have an incredible rest of your day. Thank you all so much for 40,000 subscribers. It means the absolute world to me. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.